Uh, just to let you all know, this session is being recorded as part of GDPR compliances. It's our obligation to let you all know. So we'll just wait for a minute or so, and then we'll start the session. So 12 attendees have joined, and total 28 attendees have registered. So we'll just wait for a couple of minutes before we proceed. All right. So my name is Akash Thavani, and I'm honored to serve as the Vice Chair of the ICSI Overseas Center UK. Along with me, there are other committee members as well. We have Ms. Sheetal Jayavant, who is Chair of the meeting. We have Mr. Sridhar Satyamurthy, and he's a member of the committee. We also have uh, Ms. Mayuri Pithadia. She is the Secretary of the committee. We are privileged to be joined by two distinguished experts in the field of corporate governance and compliance, whose combined experience and credentials bring immense value to this discussion. Uh, First, let me introduce Mr. Janak Prajapati. He is serving as a treasurer of the committee, and he's also a director at Crow UK LLP. He is a highly respected voice in corporate governance. Janak is also a member of both Corporate Governance Institute and Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and he brings with him a wealth of experience in company law and compliance. He has been instrumental in guiding clients and professionals through complex regulatory changes and best practices. Today, he will be leading us through the key aspects of identity verification under the ECCTA, helping us decode its implications and prepare for the upcoming mandates with clarity and confidence. As we have uh, joining Joining him is Ms. Kanchan Limai. She is a committee member and a seasoned governance compliance professional with over a decade of industry experience. Kanchan holds dual qualifications in commerce and law and is a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, as well as an associate member of the Chartered Governance Institute. UK. She currently serves as at Travis Perkins PLC, FTSE 250 company, where she plays important role in managing UK listing compliance, strengthening subsidiary governance frameworks, and overseeing the administration of the executive share plans. Her practical insights into the evolving UK regulatory landscape are sure to cherish our understanding today. Uh, in furtherance, as we navigate this new era of corporate transparency and accountability, today's session will equip us with the knowledge and tools to ensure compliance, mitigate risks, especially nowadays where compliance plays very important role, and we all know how uh, we as a professional can contribute to this to mitigate these risks and also uphold the integrity of our corporate structure. So I think without further ado, let's begin this important session. Uh, so I would hand it over to you, Janak and Kanchan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akash. Can we have the presentation, please. Thank you, Akash, for the lovely introduction, and thank you, ICSI India and IOC Center UK, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts about the recent developments in the governance space. Let me start today's session by giving a brief introduction to the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act 2023. Nowadays, this act is also called as ECTA. The act received royal assent in October 2023, and this piece of legislation was really to combat corporate fraud in the UK, as well as tidy up records at the Companies House. Next slide, please. The three main purposes of the Act are tackle economic crime, improve corporate transparency, and enhance UK's reputation as a place where legitimate business thrive. This act is important because it makes changes to the way in which companies are established and managed. The first of these changes came into force from 4th of March 2024 for new companies, and from the next confirmation statement after that date for existing ones. The Act has given powers to the Register of Companies, ROC. It has introduced objectives for ROC, which they must seek to promote when they perform their function. These objectives are ensure delivery of accurate documents, maintain the records which do not create false or misleading impression, and prevent the companies from conducting unlawful activities. So now the ROC has much wider powers and can take actions against defaulting companies in terms of heavy penalties and sometimes criminal proceedings as well. Next slide. One of the changes which has been brought by ECTA is for registered office. Companies must at all times maintain an appropriate address as their registered office. Now, what does this mean by appropriate address? It means an address where the document is getting properly delivered to the person it is addressed to, and the delivery of document is capable of being recorded by obtaining an acknowledgement. If the address is not appropriate, register has power to act against such company, and there is a very recent case where ROC has taken action when the address was not maintained properly by the company. Now, using Royal Mail PO Box or equivalent services by third-party vendors is also not allowed. So if you are using, or your company is using services of PO Box number, then please make sure to change your register office address. There are a couple of changes in confirmation statement as well. When you file your next confirmation statement, please make sure that your email address is up to date. Companies are being asked to confirm if its intended future activities are lawful. There is this little tick mark when you file your confirmation statement. And from next week, 18th November onwards, it is mandatory for all the directors to verify their identity and to mention their ID number when they file the next confirmation statement. There is also change around central registry. So from next week onwards, companies will no longer be able to elect to hold information about the company's officers on the central register. This is also a change around there is also a change around requirement of register of shareholders or members. By law, companies will have to hold a register of shareholders either at the register office or single alternative inspection location called as SAIL. So if you are a company who maintains its register office at the Companies House, you need to create and maintain the register of members either at the register office or at SAIL. Please make sure to have a statement in the register that before this change, the information was the information about the company and the members was maintained at the central registry, and after this cutoff or after this date, now the company is maintaining its own register of members. And you are required to make this register of members available to public for inspection. Now moving on to next year, from next year onwards, from 1st of February 2026, the Companies House fees are increasing. For digital incorporation, it is £100. For paper incorporation, it is £124. And for digital confirmation statement, which we do for every company, it is £50. Currently, it is 34. So they are increasing from 34 to 50. And for paper confirmation statement, it is £110. Similarly, the fees are changing for reduction of share capital, voluntary strike off. So if you or your company is planning to enter into any kind of activities which requires payment of fees, then please consider the new fee structure. And last but not the least, changes of accounts. So from 1st of April 2027, all accounts made on or after this date must be filed using commercial software. This includes dormant companies. Web and paper route will be closed for accounts filing. Software-only accounts will create a single, cost-effective, sustainable, and traceable way. So they are being digitalized nowadays from 1st of April 2027. Companies will no longer be able to prepare and file abridged accounts. Micro entities will be required to file a copy of balance sheet and P&L, and small companies will be required to file a copy of balance sheet, directors' reports, auditors' reports, and P&L. Any company claiming an audit exemption will need to give an enhanced statement from their directors on the balance sheet. Directors will need to specify which exemption is being claimed and confirm that the company qualifies for that exemption. If a company wants to change its accounting period, it will have to provide a business reason if they want to shorten the period for more than once in 5 years. So these are the few changes brought in by ICTA, which will happen in next 6 months. If we have any questions about ICTA or these upcoming changes, we will take it after the session is over or after the presentation is over. And I'm sure you and your team must be getting really prepared and ready to implement these provisions in your company. So now let's move on to the main topic for today's webinar, that is Directors ID and VE verification. Next slide, please. The Act introduced identity verification for directors. The primary reason for this procedure is to combat economic crime. There are many instances of misuse of company for illegal purposes, such as money laundering or fraud. Verifying directors' identity makes it more difficult for criminals to hide behind shell companies. To date, all information filed at the company's house is accepted in good faith. So identity verification is really to ensure that all individuals registered at the company's house are real individuals, and we know all of the information linked to them. This procedure increases transparency and improves the reliability and accuracy of the public records at the company's house by ensuring that the information provided is truthful. It is helpful to prevent fraud because with this ID verification, it becomes really very difficult to create and control companies anonymously and fraudulently. So this is going to prevent creation of fraudulent companies. This legislation transformed Companies House from passive record keeper into an active gatekeeper, which prevented creation of more fake companies, of course. Next slide, please. Under the Act, the director will not be able to act as a director unless they have their identity verified. Let me repeat. Under this Act, the director will not act as a director. So he won't be able to perform any of the duties of a director unless he has a verified identity number. That means going forward, you need to have a procedure in place for your existing directors and for appointment of new directors. At the first phase, directors and PSCs need to verify their identity. Coming forward at a later stage will be all the individuals that have to file information statement at Companies House, including secretaries and governance professionals. For secretaries and governance professionals, we do not have a set date as of now when this is going to come into effect. But what it means is the scope of this legislation is going to broaden over the period of time. The term director includes all the directors of all the companies listed in the UK or registered in the UK, regardless of their nationality or residence. This is applicable to all the existing directors, irrespective of their date of appointment, and to all the appointments going forward. If a person is being appointed as a director after 18th of November, which is the date for mandatory ID verification, then as per that, he should get his identity verified before the appointment, even though we have 14 days window to file APO1. So identity verification is a prerequisite to get the director appointed. Under the Companies Act, a person with significant control, PSC, is someone who owns or controls the company. They are sometimes also called as beneficial owners. A company can have one or more PSCs. Next slide, please. From April 2025, the voluntary window was opened to verify the identity, but the key date is 18th of November 2025, which is coming next week for all the existing directors. It may seem that the transition period is of 12 months from 18th November 2025 to 17th of November 2025, but that is not exactly the case. The Act says that all the directors and PSCs need to be verified ahead of the deadline of filing of their confirmation statement. The actual deadline is driven by the date of your next confirmation statement. For example, if your confirmation statement date is due on 15th of November, or say today, you're filing it today, then the time to comply, or the period where your directors can get verified is 12 months, because from today's date till November 2026. So you will have a window of 12 months to complete the verification for all directors. But if your confirmation statement is due on 1st of December, then that means you have time only till 1st of December. That is 12 days after 18th November to comply with this provision. I know some of the companies have changed their made-up date of confirmation statement before 18th of November so that they get the entire period of 12 months for their directors. But in my opinion, earlier you comply with, that will be better for your company. In our case, because I work in a PLC, we did everything in-house. Some of our non-executive directors were also holding directorship in outside companies, external directorship. And we also have corporate PSCs. So there is this additional complication of appointing relevant officer. The first step which we did was mapping all the directorship and deciding the priority. In June, in the board meeting, we presented a paper to the board and to the senior management and asked them to verify their identity as soon as possible. Till now, there is only one director who has to go to post office. Everybody else has done it online. So I think it is pretty smooth procedure, at least for us. Once we start receiving their IDV number, we have maintained a register of all the IDV numbers. And because we use digital entities, diligent entities, we also have updated the IDV on diligent. And finally, we have made changes to our internal process note and checklist because we have this onboarding pack for new directors. So going forward, it will be a prerequisite, it will be a requirement in one of the in that onboarding pack when we appoint a new person. Next slide, please. So to conclude my presentation, I would say prepare early, verify promptly, and if you are struggling, then consider taking services from ACSPs. With this, I will hand over to Janak sir to take us through the actual process of verification and the documentation which is required for IDV. Janak, over to you.
Thank you, Kanchan. So, like my colleague Kanchan mentioned to everybody that who required to complete the identity verification is the directors, the PSCs, and the LLP members, and whoever filed documents at Companies House. So at the moment, people can file documents at Companies House without identity verification. However, from spring 2026, Companies House hasn't declared the date yet. So at the moment, it could be around March, April, or May 2026, where everybody would have to register their identity, whoever wants to file documents at Companies House. So of course, the directors, the PSCs, the LLP members, all of them will have to register their identity. So what's the process? The process is like three ways you can do that. So the first way is that you have to go to government website, the GOE website, and you can register and then provide documents and identify yourself. Second process is you go to post office, and if you can't do any of those two, then you have to go to authorized corporate service provider, normally known as ACSP. So like these are the three options you have. You don't have any other options other than this. So either you go to Companies House website, which is gov.uk, create your login ID and do that, post office or an ACSP. Next slide, please. So if you go to gov.uk website, what do you have to do? So you create your login ID, your email address, register your email address, your password, and create your ID and connect that ID to the find and update Companies House information website. So once you have done that, you have to verify your identity using your biometric passport or driving license or your resident permits or resident card that you have. So all these documents are normally accepted online. So you create your login, provide your name and address, and then download like an app. So how the process works is that you go through all the steps on the Companies House website. The steps will take you to a screen where it gives you a QR code. That QR code will have to be scanned with your mobile phone, and that QR code will take you to your app stores or the Google Play Store, where you download the app called ID Check app. That ID Check app will continue your application from your laptop or your iPad or to your mobile phone, and then it will link the application onto your phone. So once it's linked, you take photograph of your passport onto your phone, and then you take a selfie of your face using your front camera, and that way all the documents will be connected to your application on your laptop. So once the passport photograph has been taken and once the selfie has been taken, you will have to continue your application on the laptop, and then it will gradually go through next steps and take your address details and everything. And in the end, if your application is successful, it will give you your personal code, which is like a 12-13 digit code. That's normally like ends with 2223 number at the end. So that kind of code will be given by Companies House. This process is free. Anybody can use that. However, you have to have biometric passport. The passport, like normally the Indian passport these days, is not a biometric passport. The new passports that are being issued by the government right now are biometric passport. But the current passport, if you had it issued like 2-3 years ago, or maybe 5-10 years ago, then that must be like a normal passport. Biometric passport is like a passport with a chip inside. So it's like a hidden chip, like inside the cover page of the passport, that can be scanned. Like when you are traveling from one country to another country, they can scan your details straight away onto the system, and that will bring up all your name and address and all your traveling history onto the computer of a immigration officer. So that kind of details will be presented to the government website when you're verifying your identity through gov.uk one login. Next slide, please. So the second options we have is the post office. So normally, if some people are not computer savvy, they don't have access to computer, or maybe they're not able to use like internet or those kind of situations, then you can take your original passport or your driving license or your biometric residence permit or card or all those documents to the post office, and together with your utility bill or address proof. And somebody from post office will take photocopies of those passport, put a stamp on it, certify it, and send those documents on your behalf to Companies House. And Companies House, when they receive these documents, they will review these documents and match their records with the government record, and if they are satisfied, they will send you the personal code, which is either by your email address or in the post by to the post office or to your residential address. So that process is kind of very straightforward. However, you have to come out of your house and go to the post office, or sometime you have to stand in the long queues at the post office and yeah, and get this done. Kind of like, yeah, old style. Next slide, please. And the third option is an ACSP option. Like, you can't do either of those because you are not living in the UK. You can't go to post office, and you are living outside of the UK, and you don't have biometric passport, or you can't use computers and things like that. So people who can't do any of those, like people I have seen, some of my clients are like aged 102 years old, 90 years old, 95 years old. Those people are like very much not able to use mobile phones, use computers, and they have to use ACSP services. So who is ACSP like? So like normally a company formation agent, companies, corporate and trust service providers, solicitors, accountants, those people who are in the UK, or they are like normally in like Ireland or some other European countries whose activities are regulated by HMRC or solicitor regulators authorities, FCAs, ICAEW, Institute of Chartered Accountant of England and Wales, ACCA. So if you are regulated by these agencies, then you can only register yourself as a authorized corporate service providers. So what authorized corporate services providers will do to identify your to verify your identity. So there are Companies House guidance for authorized corporate service providers. So once they applied to Companies House, they have been authorized to do this activity on behalf of the directors. Then they can, of course, there are a lot of people who do advertise out there in the market, and they charge fee for this purpose. So once you contact them, they will say, okay, all right, give me your like, do your KYC with us, or give me your certified passports, certified utility bills. Like if you're a company, then maybe they'll ask you for like a structure chart, who's your PSCs and things like that, ultimate beneficial owners, and those kind of information. So once you have given all your information to the authorized corporate service providers, what they will do, they will have a system called identity verification, like a software. So normally people use Jumio, Smart Check. There are several softwares out there in the market that will take your copy of your passport and check the records they have. Like some software company providers are like have informations of all the government's records in the world, so they can access, like, system like Aadhaar card in India, or system like passports in US, or system like, UK government records websites, or like elections records and things like that. So they can check your address, they can check your name, they can check your like, history, so that all these systems, they charge like high amount of fees for doing this for your clients. So once you have subscribed to that system as an ACSP, once all the directors have given you all those records, you upload that photo of your, or scan copies of the passport and the utility bill onto their system. They will match it with the records they have, and they'll come back with, say that the evidence is real or not, or like they have any questions or not. So like sometimes you receive like a a passport where some of the information's been cut on the photograph, or your face is not clear, or your some of the informations are blurred, so then they will reject those kind of evidences provided by the directors. So once all the systems, all the informations are clear cut, and then they have approved all the information, they will say they are happy with the evidences provided, and they will say they recognize these persons and everything is fine with this person. So on receipt of this, the CSP will send this information to the company's house and wait for company's house to respond. So normally these days company's house is very busy, but they are kind of like they have employed so many people to work on this right now, but still they take long time to come back to you. But normally you would see like up to a week's time, or maybe more than a week sometime, to come back to you on this kind of application from an ACSP. So once company's house has received all the informations from you, and as an ACSP, company's house will send an email to the applicant, not to the ACSP, with the identity verifications personal code. And yeah, that identity verifications code will be sent to the applicant, and then applicant will have to provide it to the, of course, the ACSP, and that will be used going forward for the identity verification process. So as an ACSP, you are liable to keep this record for up to 7 years. And yeah, these records will have to be kept as a uh, you know as a backup. If somebody in futures comes up as like a fake identity, or a fraud identity, then company's house will come back to you and ask you for evidences, ask you for process that you have followed when you verified somebody's identity. And at that time you have to be very much up to the point with the company's house guidance, the process you have followed, all the documents that you have gathered from the person that you have verified, and all those records will have to be presented to company's house to make sure that as an ACSP you have done what you were supposed to do according to the guidance provided by company's house. So this will be very much your risk as an ACSP, that you have to take, that when you verify somebody's identity. So if, like, most of the time, most of the people that you do this for, like, they are like genuine people, but like not everybody is all like that. There are people in this business. That's why the company's house and the UK government have to come out with the Economic Crime Corporate Transparency Act, and that's the reason we have to be, as an ACSP, very much on the ball with all the processes and guidances. So once you have kept this record for 7 years, and nothing comes up in terms of anybody's identity, you're fine. So that's the process of an ACSP to issue identity verification personal code. Next slide, please. In terms of documents, like I said, most of the documents are like biometric documents or non-biometric documents. Like biometric documents are like UK passports or US passports or European passports. Most of these passports are like have a chip inside that can be scanned using your mobile phone. So the mobile phone, if you put your mobile phone using that identity verification app onto your passport, that will recognize the passport if it has a chip inside, or your driving license, or your biometric residence permit, or your biometric residence card, or like, in UK or in US you have firearm licenses as well. So those kind of documents can be scanned using your mobile phone. Those are like biometric passports. So those are like Group A documents. So when you provide these documents to an ACSP, they will accept any one of these documents from Group A. So there's a list of documents in Group A. You can go on Companies House website and see that list. There's a long list there. So these are the most common documents that they are there. In option 2, if you do not have biometric passport, then you have to use other documents like like your birth certificates, marriage certificate, adoption certificate, like visa, immigration documents, bank statements, mortgage statements, utility bills, and of course your identity documents like your non-biometric passports or your driving license issued in your country, or your Aadhaar card in India, maybe that can be taken as a very good source of like identity verification documents. So these are the main documents that you have to use when you provide documents to like authorized corporate service providers. So like mainly like who are the directors or PSCs from India who's acting as a like directors and PSC in UK companies. Most of them, I think they will have to go through ACSP. And for them, they will have to provide, if they have their passport, if they have their Aadhaar card, if they have their driving license, like they can provide that to the authorized corporate service providers, and then like birth certificate, marriage certificates, if they have traveled to UK before, they can provide their visa documents or things like that. And if they have a bank statement, credit card statement, mortgage statements, utility bills, kind of like as an address proof. So most of the, unfortunately, for Indian citizens, Indian passport holders, they have to go through ACSP. Unfortunately, you have to pay fees. Some ACSPs charge £50, some ACSP charge £200, some ACSP charge 400, £500 per directors, or maybe for a group of directors they charge like X amount would be like for one director would be £200. Maybe for a group of directors, 3, 4, 5 directors, they may be charging you £500, £600 together. So depending on ACSPs that you contact, and according to their fee structures and their level of fees. Next slide, please. So once you have your identity verification personal code issued by Companies House, how to submit that? That will be submitted through your confirmation statement if you're director and a PSC, or both. The confirmation statement to be filed after 18th of November 2025. Like Kanchan already mentioned that if you want to avoid providing your personal code right now, and if you're very busy, you're not able to provide your documents, or you're struggling to go through your identity verification process because of some issues with your ID documents, you can file your confirmation statement early, maybe today or tomorrow, or maybe 16th, 17th of November. So you have maybe 4 or 5 days from now till 17th of November. So once you file that, you have another year from that date to get your identity verification personal code sorted out. So once you sorted that out, you can file that information with Companies House. But if you are only a PSC of a company, unfortunately, you do not have any options like that. If you are PSC and your date of birth is in December, your deadline is 14th of December 2025. If your date of birth is in January, you have deadline of 14th of January 2026. Same as February, March, April, May, June, July, so on. So everybody would have a 14th day of their birth month, to file their identity verification personal code with Companies House. However, Companies House hasn't specified how to file these informations with Companies House. So we are still waiting to hear back from Companies House when these informations will be provided. So we are still like not sure how to file this information. Next slide, please. Consequences for non-compliance. It's quite obvious that you cannot act as a director if you have not verified yourself. So of course you have 1 year to play around up to November 2026 to get your code, depending on date of your confirmation statement, of date of your birth, if you're a PSC, only PSC. So companies cannot let their directors to act on behalf of the company if they have not been verified. And of course, there are civil or criminal sanctions, financial penalties, like restrictions on filing of documents, possible disqualification if you continue to do that for a long period of time. Yeah, so those are the different kind of consequences of non-compliance. Next slide, please. So this is like a list of various action points for board of directors. Like if you're a board of directors of a UK company, or if you're a director of a foreign company, like acting in the UK, so you have to have this kind of actions to be taken in as a director of a company. So like you have to make sure that your directors are up to date with all the informations on Economic Crime Corporation Transparency Act and various deadlines into when different kind of changes are coming into effect. So like implementation dates and transition period. Organizations with the like employees where they are affected by prevention to fraud prevention measures, then they have to make sure that various mitigations are in place. Like, you know, you have designated organization structures, you have designated delegations of authorities for your employees. Yeah, monitor your identity verification process. You have appropriate registered office address. You have reviewed your filings at Companies House. So like if you are a very old companies with more than 20 years of filings at Companies House, you have to make sure that all changes that have taken place have been informed to Companies House, and yeah, adopt new system according to the new act, Economic Crime Corporate Transparency Act. Thank you very much. Next slide. Any questions? I mean,
Yes, Jonas sir, we have number of questions. We have number of questions. I will take the easy one and I'll ask you to take the difficult one. Because we recently talked about ACSP, there is this recent question: how to destroy the records after 7 years? Is there any guideline for destruction of records for ACSPs?
See, there are for all UK companies, they have to maintain their statutory records or their accounting records or their tax records for a number of years, like, yeah, more mainly like 5 to 7 years or 10 years, depending on different legislation and different guidelines. So once you have gone over that period, most of the people would really love to destroy their records, because it's your liability if you keep that records and that records gets lost or stolen or you know, like something happens to them or somebody gets hold of them. So like it's best to physically destroy them. So there are like archiving company in UK that do that for you. So like that if you tell them that, okay, keep my records for X number of years, at the end of X number of years, please destroy it. So mainly people shred like, you know, put that through the machine and that becomes like a really tiny little pieces of paper. So yeah, that's how they destroy them.
And for digital files, just delete them from your server altogether.
Yeah, so yeah, correct. Yeah. So for digital files, I think, yeah, normally people destroy their records by deleting them or yeah. That's the best way to do that, I think. Yeah. Deleting for permanent deletion, I think, yeah.
And is there a database of ACSPs provided by like?
Yeah, on Companies House website, there is a link that you can see that who are registered as an ACSP and who has been suspended as an ACSP or deregistered as an ACSP. So some people have, like, you know, in a rush, have registered themselves as an ACSP, and then they decided, oh no, I should be registered as this company, this company as ACSP, I should have registered another company. So what they have done, they have deregistered their first company, and then they have registered the company they really wanted to register as an ACSP. So there is a small list of suspended ACSP on Companies House website. Most of them are not like suspended by Companies House; they have suspended themselves. So yeah, there is a long list of people who have registered as an ACSP on Companies House website. You can go and click on that link and find out.
Yeah. And what do you think is the primary difference between DIN and the Directors IDV? DIN as in India, in Directors Identity Verification.
I mean, it's kind of a similar. I mean,
Similar,
I have not worked in India for last 20 years, so mainly I can't say that. But I think director identity number and director's identity verification personal code is more or less the same, where you have your name and address and date of birth and your identity attached to your number. So like in UK, we have national insurance number, you have your passport, you have your driving license, you have your director identification number. Keir Starmer, our prime minister, is in process of starting a new identity for each and every citizen of UK due to this immigration issues in UK. So like everybody will have so many numbers attached to their names, So like, I mean, these are like several kind of numbers you have. But yeah, in India, you have your Aadhaar card, you have your passport, you have your driving license, you have your director identity verification number. So all these are like some way they are connected with each other, isn't it? So
but one thing I would say which is different in the UK is for director's identity verification, we have to use one login, and eventually that one login will link all your registrations documentation.
yeah,
I don't think that is right now in India. We have
correct.
different things for different
Yeah, so in
documents.
India, you have, different authorities. Like you have, if you're in Gujarat or if you're in Maharashtra, if you're in Delhi, your driving license is issued by different kind of people, or your passport is issued by some, your local passport office. Of course, it's a central system. However, but you have your several offices. You can't go from this office to that office to renew your passport or make some changes on your passport or things like that. So in India being a very large country, and compared to UK, I mean, they would have their own system, to be honest, where in UK, if you are renewing your passport or you're renewing your driving license or you're renewing your DBS certificate or your biometric permit or things like that, you have only one login ID, and that login ID will take you in each and every corner of gov.uk website.
Yeah. There is one question around confirmation statement. When the confirmation statement is required to be filed, is it annually or whenever there is a change? So because it is easy, I will answer that. Yes, confirmation statement needs to be filed annually. After incorporation, the due date is your incorporation anniversary. Within 14 days, you have to file your first confirmation statement, and after that, every year. But if there is any change in the records, change in register office, directors, listing structure, SIC code, then you have to file the confirmation statement within 14 days of the change. And then your calendar resets to that date, and it becomes applicable after 12 months from that date whenever you file the recent confirmation statement. Ideally, whenever after 18th of November, you are not required to file confirmation statements when your directors have ID verified. You have to follow your old calendar, and whenever your next confirmation statement is due, you need to update the director's IDV in that confirmation statement. And there was another question about exemption for filing of balance sheet, P&L, and auditors. Are there any companies who are exempt from filing or preparing balance sheet, director's report, auditor's report? My answer would be there is no exemption to prepare balance sheet, but there is exemption to get the balance sheet audited. For dormant companies, micro and small companies, right now, there is no requirement to get your balance sheet audited. Is it right, Janak sir?
So for audit, there is a threshold. So it depends on your UK turnovers as well as your worldwide turnover. So if you are a part of a group and if your turnover exceed like right now, I think it's 15 million pound or something, and if you have more than 50 employees, and there is a third condition as well. If your balance sheet total is more than 10 million or something like that. So if this cross, if you're crossing two of these three, then you are liable to audit your UK company, either your UK turnover or if you're a part of a group, your worldwide turnover together. So you are, however, there is an audit exemption for companies like having a UK holding companies. So earlier it was like before Brexit, you could have a European holding companies as well. However, after Brexit, it's only UK holding companies. So if you have a 10, 15 UK companies and one of the holding company in that structure is being audited, where your accounts are consolidated, so that only that company will have to audit their accounts. All other subsidiary companies coming under that holding company whose accounts are audited and consolidated at that level, they don't have to audit, and there is a special procedure for that. You have to file certain forms and some members undertaking at company's house, together with your UK companies, private limited companies accounts, as well as the consolidated accounts at company's house to claim that exemption. And according to this new requirement, where if your companies are not being audited, you have to add a statement underneath your balance sheet that your accounts, under what conditions your accounts are not being audited. So it's an extra additional liability for directors to say that their accounts are not audited because of XYZ reason. However, it could be a small company, it could be like I said, it could be a dormant company, it could be a micro entities company or other companies. So before, like other questions I like to answer is that in UK, for like micro entity companies are not required to file their profit and loss accounts. So from April 2027, all companies will have to file their profit and loss account, especially the micro entities companies. So normally some companies are like exempted from filing profit and loss account right now. However, this will not be the case from April 2027. So yeah, most businessmen or like entrepreneurs, they do not like their uh, turnovers or expenses or like those kind of informations are published on public record. But that will be the case from April 2027 for all companies. Yeah.
We have received number of questions, but I'll take like last two. Do you think IDNV is applicable for resignation of directors? Do we have to I don't think TMO1 has any place where we have to put in IDV right now. But going forward, if a director is resigning, whether he needs to have his identity verified.
So it's again the same thing. If your confirmation statement is, if you're resigning before the due date of your confirmation statement, that's fine. You don't have to give your identity verification code. So if you're not a director of any other company or not a PSC of any other company or LLP member of another entity, then yeah, you don't have to do that. Or in future, you're not going to become a director of any other company. I mean, it's a very much easy process for anybody to do this, because that will be handy if you are going to become a director of any other company in future. You'll need that code anyway. So either you do it today or you do it tomorrow. It's up to you. But yeah, if you are resigning and your confirmation statement is due after the date of your resignation, you don't have to do that.
But going forward, I think it makes sense to have the IDV in TMO1 because after a certain period of time, every director will be having their identity verified. So
yeah, so once the identity verification process is once process. So once you have become a director, or once you have incorporated a company as a director, or once you have like filed your confirmation statement, your identity verification process code is with Companies House. So
Yeah.
that is it. Nothing. So this process will last for 1 year
Yeah.
for existing directors. For new directors, that will be like at the time of their appointment or at the time they are incorporating a company. But once they have done that, there is no need to do anything else. If you're resigning, you're resigning. There is no link of identity verification code with your resignation.
If a person is acting as a director in one company and a secretary in another, for example, for us PLC, our company secretary is a director of subsidiary company. Do these people have to get verified twice, or it's just one identity code because it's a unique code? It is irrespective of your position.
Yeah. First of all, company secretaries don't have to identify themselves. Only directors. So
Not
if you
not
are
right now. Going forward,
Yeah.
they will need to get their identity verified. Going forward, not right now.
Yeah. If you're acting as a secretary and you are a director of other companies, you have to do it. Like we have some clients that they have 150 companies in the group, and one person is director of each and every company. So he's got only one code. He has to use that code for all the confirmation statement that being filed for those companies. That's it. But like some of the people have illusion in their mind that if you're a director of X number of companies, you have to verify yourself X number of times. No, it's not like that.
IDV requirement for the responsible person of a corporate director. Is there any requirement of IDV for responsible person of a corporate director?
Yes. So companies are still not sure how to do that, and they have postponed this for the moment. But they are saying that they will be having all these corporate directors, registrable relevant legal entities who are acting as a PSC. They will have a responsible person or like authorized person, and that authorized person will be have to do their identity verification. So one individual will have to be presenting himself or herself as a authorized or responsible person for all these corporate directors or registrable relevant legal entities who's acting as PSC. And like in case of a LLP member, corporate member, they would have to have this responsible person whose identity will have to be verified.
If once we get this ID verified, if there is a change in address or change of passport, like renewal of passport, do you think that it does need to verify their ID once again if there are any changes in KYC?
No. Once you're verified, it's verified. Done. You have a code. You have done your job. It's more to do with your name and your photographs and your ID. It's nothing to do with your address. I think it is part of the process that you have to provide your address. However, if your address changes, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever to your identity verification process. So that's not a issue if your address changes like after you have verified yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about this process yet, but when we log into Companies House website, can we see that who has verified their identity and who has not? In my mind, I can see that there is this blue tick after the name of the director who has verified their ID, or is there anything else?
Companies House was saying something like that. So it's there would be some indication on Companies House records that this person has done it and this person has not done it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they will take an inspiration from Instagram and
Instagram or X, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, yeah. If anybody is still having problems with their verification, is there a helpline number or a portal prescribed by Companies House?
So if you go through your gov.uk login and try and identify yourself, and if there is an issue, So at the end, the Companies House will say that we are not able to verify your identity. And if you click next after that, they will give you like a 5-digit or 4-digit code. And that code is your it's any issue that you have, it will be connected to that code. So you can go to this group chat options on that like screen. You will have a various options that you can contact Companies House, either group chat or by telephone or by email. So you can code that number when you contact the group chat or telephone line or email. Yeah, then they'll help you sorting out your issue. Most of the time is your name or your surnames. Like, some people have like few middle names as well. Like I have seen someone with like 6, 7 middle names as well. So if you have like, sometime you have those kind of phonic kind of alphabets with like A with a like dot at the top and there's like dot at the bottom, things like
German
that.
names are typically like
German
that.
names, yeah, exactly, yeah. So those kind of names you have trouble with, then they will have to help you out. Companies House will have to help you out on that, yeah.
If your PSC is a corporate entity, not an individual, then what is the deadline, or what should we do in that case?
Companies House hasn't specified anything on that side. Like I said, you have to appoint authorized or responsible person for your registrable relevant legal entity, and yeah, they will have to identify themselves and provide their code to Companies House. But Companies House hasn't even provided process for individual PSCs at the moment, so not sure when they're going to provide for a corporate PSC.
Yeah. I think I have covered most of the questions. If there is anything else which you want to ask or you are not sure right now, but afterwards you may have some questions, then please write to us. I will put the email address for UK ICSI chapter in the chat box. And yeah, that's it. Akash, do you think there are any other questions? I think I have covered most of them.
I think there is one question in the question and answer. I think we have covered all
Most
the
of them.
questions. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ICSI India and UK for giving us this opportunity to talk about almost 1 hour, talk about recent developments in ICTA and Directors ID&D. Over to Sheetal now.
Janak, sorry, Sheetal, before Sheetal, Janak, I have sent one question in the chat message. In India, after getting the DIN number, every year the KYC have to, it's a mandatory. Every year director have to do a KYC. So is there a similar requirement in UK?
Because it's all linked to your passport. Like if it is biometric passport, yes. But once you have verified and your records are with ACSP for 7 years, it's to with your face, it's to with your like identity. It's your like it's what you call yourself Janak Prajapati or Sridhar, and you are what you are. So that is the reason they don't want Companies House don't want to go into lot of administration like this. They just want to make sure that the person is a human being and he's the one, like he doesn't have like 10 names. Like, if I incorporate a company with Janak Prajapati, and if I incorporate another company with like Sumit Prajapati, and if I incorporate another company with Jignesh Prajapati and things like that, it's me all at the end of the day with different date of birth. I can do that right now. Today I can do that. Companies House has no restriction in place. But tomorrow, after 18th of November, I can't do that, because if I want to incorporate a company, I have to have a identity verification code attached to my name. So in 2017, 2018, somebody when Theresa May was the prime minister, somebody incorporated a company with David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson as a director of a company. That company was quickly removed off the Companies House record. because it was getting like noticed by the parliament and a lot of people, and then and this is the reason people, the somebody who incorporated that company wanted to bring it to the attention of the parliament that this is something wrong. Anybody can do this, any Tom, Dick and Harry can incorporate a company and call himself, yeah, whatever you want to call. I've seen a lot of traders out there in the market, like builders. I don't want to like categorize them, but some of them are like, they just do the work and they run away. Like, they incorporate a company, they do a work for like a building site, and then they call themselves Mr. XYZ, and then tomorrow they incorporate another company with their name called Mr. XZY. And they are not getting caught because they are two different individuals on Companies House records. But from now on, like from November onwards, like yeah, they all be like one person. So they won't have some. Yeah, some people leave their middle name out, add extra middle name, and then they register their company, and it's like my name is Janak, and then my actual name is Janak Kumar. But yeah, normally my companies are registered with Janak Kumar. But then yeah, people can incorporate companies with J Prajapati, Janak Kumar, yeah, all those kind of things. Yeah.
No, so in India, it's basically if you don't do KYC every year, then your DIN is deactivated.
Oh,
To reactivate, you have to pay penalty of 5,000 rupees per year till the time you need to get the renewal.
India, it's not as open as UK. Like in UK, like right now, like I said, UK is very much open, very much kind of free to enter. Any foreign citizen can become a director. Any foreign shareholder can become a shareholder. Any money can be remitted to UK and can be added to your UK company. All these things are very much straightforward. There is no approval process or procedures and things like that. You can take money out of UK very easily. So if you're a shareholder, you can take dividend out of UK companies, and there is no repatriations, kind of like taxes or anything like that on that. But in India, everything is very much restricted. You can't do this, you can't do that. You have to take this approval, you have to take that approval. Sending money to your UK company from foreign, you have to take FC, what do you call it? FEMA Act approval, and those kind of approval. If you're taking money out of the Indian company, you have to take approval. If you are a foreign citizen, want to become a director of an Indian company, you have to take approvals. So that's not easy in India. So I think for those kind of, like, India is a very big country. India is it's very difficult to manage because of the populations, and anybody can do, like, anybody can do anything, to be honest. So I think in India, it's kind of like right to do these kind of things. Where in UK, I think it's more based on trust, on goodwill. Like, yeah, you can they rely on ACSPs, they rely on like accountants, solicitors, like who incorporate companies on your behalf, so that if I as an accountant incorporate a company right now, today, not in tomorrow's, like after 18th of November, we have to do all the KYC. We have to make sure that that person is a real person and things like that. And then we incorporate the company for them because of the strict HMRC guidelines, anti-money laundering guidelines. But if no, there are hardly any people out there who normally go to Companies House directly and incorporate a company. You can do that, but that's very difficult for most of the people. But yeah, but through any companies opened through service providers, accountants, solicitors, corporate trust service providers, most of the time they are genuine companies. Yeah. So they don't have to do this. Hopefully we won't have to do this every year. Yeah.
Okay. Are
Thank
we
you.
done? Are we
Yeah.
done now? Okay. Hello, everyone. I can just see names. So if you guys are comfortable, I would like to see you off the camera and then come online. I think it has been a wonderful and a very informative session. So a massive thanks to Janak and Kanchan. You guys have smashed it. I think I'm still taking in. There is so much of information and so much of insights. I really, really enjoyed this session, and I'm sure there will be a lot of follow-up questions on this, and we will try to answer as much as possible. I'm sure everyone who has attended this session today are walking away a little bit wiser and perhaps a little bit confident in terms of how to do it in the right way. Because yes, you will see a lot of text and guidance in terms of, yeah, that act is coming and this is the process. But I think today you guys have made it very clear, and you have to be honest, the role of ACSP, I knew that ACSP are authorized to do it, but then Janak, the way you have explained how they will help has really helped me understand these provisions a lot. So thank you, thanks a lot. Again, apart from vote of thanks, I have to do a couple of announcements, so stay online. A massive thank you to ICSI Delhi team for giving us a tech support, and my own team for always being that, giving that encouragement and giving that behind the scenes support. Last but not the least, thank you for all of you. Thank you for taking time to attend this session. Today's attendance has been really, really good, and we look forward to see you more. If there are any topics or sessions you would like us to include, please reach out to us. I'm not sure how many of you know, but this team has been just in place only since March, and we are getting there, baby steps. But we are really keen and eager to help you have more interactive sessions like this. We already have a support group where we help people who have recently moved to UK and trying to restart their professional career. So do reach out to any of the team members you find. Our details are also on ICSI website, and we already have a separate page. And on LinkedIn, we are quite active. So please reach out to whoever you want, and we'll be more than happy to come back and answer your questions. So this is, as promised, we in the past, I think we have talked about the support group and how to navigate in the corporate sector. Today, we have covered the technical session on the director's identification verification. And going forward, we'll like to include some interesting and some relevant topics for all of us. So I'm really keen to hear you out. And before I sign off, we are planning for a networking event sometime in December. So if you are open, so we'll be opening a poll to gather your thoughts. And if the response is really good, and believe me, we are a small community of really 75 to 80 people. So I think it will be good to just hear your thoughts and reach out to each other and plan for something nice towards the end of the year so that we could interact with each other. And as Solu said, join the UK WhatsApp group. Is there anything any panel members or any committee members want to add? Thank you, Akash, for doing the introductions.
Yeah, and I think just one question from the question and answer box. To answer Swaratmika's question, do we have any WhatsApp group? So as
Yes, we do.
Sheetal said, you can join the support group and you can ask, you can discuss any compliance related topics as well. It is exclusively for UK based members. So yeah, you can join that group.
Anything else anyone wants to ask, raise? Otherwise, we are happy to close this session. Thanks once again, everyone on the call. See you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.